snow in your face.
That's important.
There's a lady, the poor lady who
I've been
came
skiing
from
forever for a long time. I still see some kids going, I went to swim the rest of the day.
Do you ever respond to my email?
No.
is the last meeting, she said she might not be here. No?
All set? Okay. Welcome to the trustee meeting, Essex Junction Trustees meeting. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. So, yes, I don't know where trustee Lori Houghton is, but I'm assuming she'll be joining us shortly. She might have been held up down in Montpelier.
Do we vaguely remember her saying she
I
might
thought
not
she
be
said
here?
she wasn't gonna
Maybe
be
she
here
did.
today.
Maybe she did.
Sort of
Did we-
remember that.
Yeah, I
Maybe
can't,
she did. Okay.
We have quorum.
Sorry, and if it's my memory, I apologize.
it's all of our memories.
All right. So, Pat,
Yes.
we have some agenda additions.
We have one, sir.
Yep.
We want to add to old business 5A, a memo from Lauren Moriso regarding possible changes to the village budget.
Okay, thank you. Do I hear a motion?
I move we approve the agenda as amended.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it's amended. So I think that's it. We're accepting the agenda as amended, right?
Yes.
So now we can just move on to, and we want to go have our next piece is, there's no one from the audience tonight, so the next piece is to have the public hearing on the FY19 proposed budgets and capital programs. And Lauren, do you want to do that? Do you want me to do it?
Well, I've got that PowerPoint and I've.
Yeah, why don't you do the PowerPoint, and do you want to, we can maybe swing it out, or channel 17, do you want to take a minute and try to move the camera to get a better angle, or how would what would work for you?
Well, I could try that.
It's up to you. We can also
just
swing,
angle it out.
we can swing the screen out. Would it be a little bit better if we
A
could?
little easier.
All right, thank you, Andrew.
You got it.
Doesn't have to go too much, that's enough.
And while he's doing that,
Sure.
Lauren, do you want to work this, I'm assuming you'll work the revision that we got tonight into this discussion, or do you want to?
Well, there was after this, there's FY 19 proposed budget, so I
Okay.
thought that would be a good time.
Okay. Sounds good.
So you received the memo about changing the street department, increasing by $3,000 for the equipment rentals, because wastewater treatment bought the wheel loader and the street department is going to use it. They had been renting from a rental agency, and now they'll take that from the wastewater treatment facility. So that's $3,000, and really didn't make much change to the budget. So with that change, the FY 19 general fund budget is $5,001,132, increase of 3.8%. And water and sewer and sanitation, water is $3,868,862, wastewater is $1,951,088, and sanitation is $492,427. Total budgets all together, $11,313,509, with an increase of 3.4% altogether. Capital funds proposed spending includes the capital reserve at $2,001,931, rolling stock at $265,677, recreation mixed at $110,700. Water capital, $187,663, wastewater capital, $7,957, sanitation, $251,522, for total capital spending of $2,825,450. That includes some debt payments. Budget increase for the general fund is a total of $184,823, 3.8%. $182,106 of that is for operating, and $2,717 is for debt service. The increases are made up of salaries, $46,502, fire salaries, $54,000, new shared services, $38,274, Decrease for the manager search of 15,000, capital contributions increased by 33,217, health and other insurances increased by 17,797, and matching grants and Steamfest increased by 14,000, and then there were other increases and decreases that added to 3,967. With this budget, the tax appropriation in FYE 19 would be $3,463. $3,463,797, an increase of 5.4%, with the tax rate increasing by 4.9% to .3143 per $100 of assessed value, which would, for a home valued at $280,000, would cause an increase of $41.16. And I think it's worth explaining, one of the reasons that the tax rate is going up more than the budget is that we have decreased the amount of fund balance we're using against the tax rate. General fund had normal challenges to maintain services and work toward more shared services, working for the alignment of the fire departments. We were recognizing additional ways to combine services with the town in HR and IT. Capital budget and rolling stock continue to need increased contributions to keep up with the cost of those items. We've had initiatives to combine services in Public Works, Finance Department, the community development, sharing of town, village, and clerk, sharing IT services, and sharing of human resources. And we also continue on grant procurement. FY19 capital reserve projects scheduled are the Railroad Ave water line for $95,430, facilities assessment, $10,000, West Street extension intersection for $100,616, and continue on the Crescent Connector at $1,795,774. Rolling stock purchases proposed are the Vector truck. The general fund rolling stock funds 30% of that, and that'd be $33,000. Sidewalk plow for $52,401. 2 4-wheel drive pickup trucks for $58,786. Trailer mounted boom lift, $30,164, and the fire pickup truck needs to be replaced at $56,827. This next slide shows where our tax dollars are going. For an average home, the taxes are $6,577. 66% of that goes to the schools, 21% to the town of Essex, and 13% to the Village of Essex Junction. Our enterprise funds, we have the challenges of in wastewater of always meeting state regulations, which are constantly changing. We have a bond payment in wastewater that we are gradually increasing our rates to fund by $10,000 a year. And we're continuing our water meter replacement program, which is taking longer than anticipated, and we're hoping now for a completion in FY20. And our water fund has many pending large projects. So
Pending large?
projects, and
Okay.
that's why we're increasing our contribution to the capital reserve and water fund. Rates that we are predicting at this point are an increase of water sewer sanitation rates of 7%. That's water would be an increase of 7%, wastewater 9%, and sanitation 4%. And we will be looking at these rates again before we set them in June. Enterprise funds capital projects that are planned, the meter upgrades to radio reads in the water fund, $28,721. The water fund pays for 5% of the Vector truck, and that's $5,500. Railroad Ave water line, the other pieces in the capital reserve, the roadway piece, would be $107,685. The sanitation fund capital will be, is a partner in those meter upgrades, and will participate with $57,442. South Street Pump Station pump replacement, $40,000, and the Vector truck is 60% in sanitation fund, and that's $66,000. And wastewater treatment is kind of not doing too many projects this year, which is probably good.
Yeah.
But they do participate in the Vector truck for 5%.
Yep.
And that is where we're at right now.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's next.
You know, Lauren, can I ask, it just maybe, it's probably right in front of me, or I'm not asking the right question, but our penny on the tax rate revenue, where does that show up? You know, the penny on the tax?
Oh, it is in it's special fund. It's not on here because, maybe because we don't have any planned
Okay.
projects.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's the good
But
answer.
we are
'Cause I was thinking,
accumulating
okay,
money.
it's
I
not
think
right
we-
in front of me, and I can't see it.
Yeah, we got
Okay.
108,000, I think, in there, and we'll have more.
So there's 108,000 in there now,
Mhm.
and there'll be something along the same lines in the current fiscal
Probably
year.
by the end of the year, there'll be.
Okay. Okay. Just wanted, that's good to know.
Yep, that's accumulating, and we build it again this year. That's good. So last night, the select board met and went over their budget. And this memo talks about things that changed during that time.
Okay.
The administration budget, we've got funds for an HR person and an IT person, 34%. And the IT person won't be starting until March. And so I'm proposing that we decrease that payment to the town to reflect that.
Okay.
The HR person is scheduled to start July 1, if it goes through a town meeting. And the other thing is, the select board chose to delay the alignment of the fire department salaries until January of 19.
Okay.
And so we thought that you might want to discuss whether you want to do that in the village as well.
Does
Yeah.
that mean,
Or not.
excuse me,
Okay, okay.
does that mean they put it off entirely, or they staggered it 1 year? Instead of doing all of it in 1 year, doing it over 2 years, or did they just delay the
Starting-
entire thing?
Instead of starting it in July 1st, they're starting it in January 1st, so.
So the change in the structures will happen then, and then the additional money will be needed then.
Okay. Yep.
I know at the last meeting, we had discussion about Chris Gaborio, and going to him, there was discussion about
The salary.
withholding the salary thing on our end, so I just hearing this discussion now, thought maybe it'd be appropriate to.
Yeah, I mean, that's it's along the same lines,
Right,
because we
basically,
talked, we said that, we didn't know, number one, of the 20% increase, and it was something on the order of a $72,000 increase in salary, and we were wondering if that couldn't be divided in half, just do half this year, half, since we're not actually, since it's just a speculative, it wasn't something you asked for, it's, something that it's not part of their normal pay increase, it was something that we're doing voluntarily to try to align the department, so how does that play into this?
Well, it was basically, Lori suggested it, my suggestion, my counter argument was that before we go and just say that we're gonna cut that, I think we should discuss this with
Yeah.
Chris and see how this would impact his staffing and other things, because it played in part, with training, paying for training, and changing the training standards and the qualifications to maintain your certification and your response.
Right.
So I just felt we should, consult the department head, being Chris, with that, before we just make
Yeah.
a broad
Yeah.
decision.
One small correction, because I don't want Lori to get blamed,
Mhm.
that it was me who recommended it.
Okay, I thought it was Lori.
Okay.
She seconded,
okay.
somebody, I know it was you,
Someone
and
wants
I,
to.
in discussion of it, I brought
That's
up that I didn't think.
So, yeah, and I don't know if we've had that discussion, but this sort of
Well, if you, excuse me.
Yeah, no, Pat, go ahead.
If you recall, when Chris was talking to us about his budget, he mentioned a couple of times that he prepared the budget for the eventuality of doing it or not doing it. So he would get through the year with the money that he put in the budget, irrespective of what decision we made.
Okay.
So he's good in terms of money. The training side of it is, I don't believe that the Essex Junction firefighters get paid for training like the Essex Town firefighters do. So by starting that in January, there's a little more cushion too. So he will get through the year with the financial resources to carry it. I don't think they'll get, and this is just my prognostication, Dan, I don't think that they're gonna get to the real details of applying for new standards based upon training. They're just gonna try to align the training that they're currently doing, make sure that both parties on a fire ground will do the same thing at the same time, irrespective of who's in charge. So I think that's probably as far as we'll go this fiscal year on that. And I don't know, I can't speak to next year because I'm not gonna be here.
Well, so, but Pat, to back
Yes.
up a second, so, but we talked about cutting the overall increase, so like, are you saying that we could do that or not do that? I'm not clear what you.
I'm saying if you wanted to do that, you could do that. The budget was put together with the ability to get through the year. Well, wait a minute, no, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying what Chris said was that he had enough money, whether we did it or not, he was okay for the year.
It sounds like, based on what you're saying with Charlie, or with the select board, that they're gonna push it off anyways until next, till next year anyway. So we're really, there's no hurry, so we could probably go ahead with the budget without it, although it'll be built into the budget probably for FY '20.
Yeah, the thing is, if you left it the way it is right now, the increase that's showing for the next fiscal year would be incremental and
Yeah.
marginal at best.
Yeah,
too,
okay.
Okay, so I'm a little, I gotta admit to being a little confused here.
Sorry. That's me trying to
No,
explain
no.
somebody else's words.
What I think I hear Pat saying is, don't lower the budget, don't lower the fire department budget.
Yeah, just kind of leave it as
Right.
it is, just don't spend it.
Right,
If we don't need it, we're not gonna spend it.
right.
But
We can't just, another department can't just use it, right? You have to come, the trustees, we can authorize departmental
Well, I think the
transfer,
manager
right?
can make an
But-
departmental use of the funds. And ultimately, if you don't spend it during the course of the year, it reverts to fund balance, so
Right.
you still have the money.
But you're talking about, with the memorandum, of reducing the fire, what's in the fire department budget now, the
Yes,
$400,799 by $33,935.
That was a suggestion, it's just for
Good
discussion,
discussion.
it's just for discussion.
And-
Based upon what was said. at the
And
meeting.
interestingly, that's pretty close to what we were recommending, but for a different reason, last time.
Yes.
We were recommending something like a $35,000 reduction.
You
So it
were.
winds up being pretty close to what we were recommending.
Yes.
It's just coincidence, but a happy
I'm
coincidence.
very happy.
Okay.
But wasn't it also tied to the IT person that the town would be hiring? There was a salary we were gonna be putting money towards, I remember.
Which,
That was
which
a
is what, the
different
first
thing.
thing that I talked about.
Yeah, right.
That was a different thing.
Which
That's,
is-
Okay. But I think I remember, as I recall from the last meeting, there was conversation that the amount of money we would be contributing towards that position was pretty close to what this amount from the fire department, the savings we could have done through that.
Yes.
That was,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
just that, just wanted for
Right,
clarification
It
purposes.
was at
Right,
38,000,
right,
yeah.
right.
so if we accept all of these budget reductions, and I can't see any reason not to, then we're going from a 3.8% increase to a 3.67% increase, right?
Whatever
Fire and
That's
add
what
to
you-
the tax rate. So if we did both, we would be at 2.9% increase
Okay.
and 3.67 on the tax rate.
Okay, so the general fund budget, maybe I'm reading this incorrectly, would be reduced, so the general fund budget increase is 2.9%.
Correct.
Okay,
With these
With
reductions,
these reductions.
so that's, okay,
if you want to do those reductions. The other thing is, if we do that, well, the first thing where we reduce the amount for the IT position, that will affect our enterprise funds, and so, because they pay a portion of that.
yep,
So for the next meeting, I would have to adjust those amounts as well.
okay.
but it's, you know, we just have to decide whether we're gonna do that.
Well, I like the memorandum, I like what it's doing, I like the fact that it's reducing the budget. I'm gonna throw just a suggestion out for the three of you to consider. The other piece that jumps out at me that has a pretty big increase, which was it? It was, wait a second, it looked like we had a bigger increase for economic development community events than it seemed, but I was gonna recommend that the two things that were on here, the Steam Fest, and then there was an additional 10 grand for, what was it, 10,000, was it
Grant money. Grant match money.
grant match money, I was gonna recommend that we fund those from the penny on the tax rate money, since we haven't found a use for that yet. Is that a possibility, Lauren? That'd push it down a little bit more, and,
The
Just a
grant-
recommendation?
No, the
We
grant
have to have a
money,
hearing to uncover that money.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Like 6 people at once talking.
Yeah, sorry. Lauren, if you don't mind, wait a minute, what, Lauren?
no, I just, you know, it just depends what the grant is for, I guess. I think it was a planning grant that
It's the
Robin
planning
was
grant
for.
it's a match for, an RPC grant, to implement, Design Five Corners into the land development
Okay,
code.
so that would fit in economic development, which is that. what that fund
Exactly,
is
and
for.
it's something that we wanna have happen. And we're only paying the match, but the RPC is paying the bulk.
Right,
But I was just gonna recommend, if we wanna just knock the general fund down a little bit, I mean, we have 108,000 sitting in the, and we're gonna have probably another
We're gonna
108,
have another by the end of the
110,000.
year, yeah.
So, you know, it's money just sitting, it's taxpayer dollars just sitting there, and we might, I don't, just a recommendation, would use 15 grand of that to pay for the Steam Fest, for next year, and plus the the match for the RPC work. Just a thought.
I think that's a good idea. We haven't encumbered this money before, but we did say that we would hold hearings to
Did
allow
we?
us to spend that
Oh,
money.
we can't
just do it,
just do it.
yeah.
We did say we would have one public hearing, and we have
Sticks.
talked about at some point, we need to talk about the overall
Good point.
process for when we're gonna do, for how we're gonna use the money, what types of
Right.
things we'd use the money for.
Right.
And personally, I'd rather see us have the conversation of, what are we gonna do with this before we just
Start spending.
start saying this thing
Yeah,
over
oh,
here,
let's
then maybe
take it
that
out of
one
there,
here.
yeah,
Okay.
I agree with Andrew.
I just have this gut level hatred of going to the voters with you know, I just like to keep the tax rate as low as possible, but this isn't bad.
This looks like a very responsible budget.
Okay.
The increase, I think, is a very minimal amount.
Yeah, 2.9%, I think, is within the
Okay.
comfort zone.
Okay.
It's within the
It's
cost
not
of doing business.
2.3%, which is what our governor talked about today, but
Is that what he talked about?
yes.
Okay.
So you're saying you would like me to incorporate these changes for our next meeting?
I think so.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. And that's a good decision.
Oh, so wait now, in
Yeah,
terms
somebody
of
needs
process, we gotta wait, guys, wait,
Oh, didn't close the public
yeah,
hearing.
we gotta close the public hearing. Sorry about that. I will now close, I think that's it, so we'll now close the public hearing. Doesn't mean we're not gonna talk about the budget more, but
Right.
I'll now close the public hearing. Sorry about that, folks.
They're very upset.
Yeah, I know. So we're on to old business, we're discussing the FY19 proposed budget, and so where we just left off, we're gonna incorporate the changes, the possible changes discussed in the memorandum that would reduce the general fund budget increase to a 2.9, hold it under a 3% increase, which is good. And the new tax rate would be 0.3106.
Estimated tax rate.
Estimated tax rate, for a tax rate increase of 3.6%, 3.67%. Everyone good with that?
Just a quick question.
Yeah.
So with the select board budget and their timing around the their fire department delay, is that a final decision or? Okay.
Yeah.
Great. The fewer moving pieces, the better.
Absolutely.
So somebody will need to talk to Chris.
Yeah. Hey,
Okay. Any other thoughts about the budget? Okay. All right, so that's what we'll expect, and I think that barring any unforeseen circumstances, at our next meeting, we'll be looking at approving the FY19 budget. And that's gonna happen shortly before we begin our joint meeting, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
According to
Our next
this,
joint meeting, yep, okay. Well,
not
that
the
makes
warning
sense.
for the
That's
meeting,
good.
yes.
I had also had the thought, since we're kind of on the subject, I think I would like to have us put a short explanation about the new budget, the new increases, and just to give a general, brief, accurate summary of the budget, and post that on Front Porch Forum.
Sure.
And also maybe have a link and have the, we'll be probably putting this on our website, and then have a link from Front Porch Forum going to our website so people can look at it, okay? With your, I mean, I won't do it, but
Yeah.
Darby, have Darby or someone do it, okay?
Right, yeah, that's a good
We usually
idea.
do a Q&A. Do you want to do that?
Yes, yes,
We'll just get the Q&A ready
okay.
that we use.
Yeah, that incorporates what you said plus some more.
Yeah. Okay. So we are still under old business, and the next piece is the Vermont Community Development Program Planning Grant. And Pat?
Yes,
take it away.
the issue here is whether or not you're gonna sign the municipal policies and code document, which, as you know, we do have a grant, VHFA, to create the web-based interactive resources for coming with up-to-date information about housing needs and indicators in a variety of formats. It's required that signing the document that is attached to this memo would ensure that the funding authority, the Vermont Community Development Program, that we will provide the financial oversight to the sub-recipient uses for the fair housing policies, and to maintain the drug-free workplace and provide equal opportunities and other ethical and legal obligations that we signed on for when we accepted the grant. These are policies that will hold us in good stead, but might be subject to an audit should there be any discrepancies. So it's recommended that the trustees sign the VCDB program, the Vermont Community Development Program, municipal policies and codes. And they are listed for your reading enjoyment. You receive them electronically, and all of you, should you vote in the affirmative, need to sign it.
Okay. Do we need a lot, I think we've had this discussion already when we
Yes.
issued the rules. Yeah.
And just one piece of information, probably more so for you guys, my understanding is that with receiving these monies, somebody has to attend a fair housing training. For my work, I've had to do that already, and my understanding is that might satisfy the need for it.
I think Darby is signed up for that. But I think, so we talked about it today, and we're gonna get together with the people that are getting the grant, and just so that we understand, we have to have a special account, and there's rules, so we can understand them all.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Thanks for offering it, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good, that's good. Okay, so do I hear a motion on
I
this?
move that the trustees sign the Vermont Community Development Program municipal policies and codes.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Do we have it
It's
original?
unanimous?
I
Okay.
think probably he's
Oh,
got it.
George's got it already. Thank you all.
So we're on to, I put this in to talk briefly about our own transition planning for transitioning from Pat to Evan. The reason is Evan was here last weekend, and I met with him briefly, and, you know, he's anxious to learn and anxious to get documents, but we don't want to send him the entire land development code and policy and all the annual reports for the last 10 years. We want to kind of narrow it down to what, you know, gets him up to speed but doesn't overwhelm him with too much information. And obviously, a lot of this is available online and he can go and find it, but I thought it would be good to try to prepare some kind of, a batch of documents to send to him. The one thing that I had asked Patty to include was the organizational chart for the village, which we have here. And then Evan also asked to see a list of our pending capital projects, so he would know about those. But instead of me just coming up with my own or talking with Pat, and Patty about this, I thought I'd ask you guys what you think about other documents, other information, anything off the top of your head that we want Evan to be looking at and be thinking about before he starts in just about a month from now.
Well, I mean, it might be useful just to send him a list of really important documents with a link to each of them on the website so he can access them quickly.
Okay.
The charter,
Mhm.
contract, and the code and the ordinances. I mean, he'll get to those eventually, but it'd be easier if he just knew which ones were the most important and where to find them.
Okay. I was thinking of sending him, now this, Andrew, this in terms of the capital program committee, do you think this is good, or should we try to do something else that they've got in mind, or that,
I think that this is
good?
I think that's fine.
Okay. I said Design Five Corners because I was gonna send him that, or at least a link to that.
That would be useful.
I don't know, yeah.
I was gonna say, connect him with CCRPC, just so he can see the
Yeah.
connection between our community and the
Okay.
county.
Charlie, I'm sure, would to talk to him.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, it's, again, we'll do it in time, and I would say, I'm gonna recommend that he
He wants to come to one of the meetings.
He should,
Yeah.
I mean, Pat knows this stuff like the back of his hand. When Evan comes on and he's gonna be talking to us, he's not gonna know a lot of the things that we all know, so it might be a good idea for him to go to a bunch of the meetings at first.
I would hope.
You can kill two birds with one stone, because, our alternate is Jeff Carr. Jeff and I are usually at the meetings.
Yep.
Actually, Jeff's didn't meet the
So
last
Jeff-
meeting, couldn't make it.
So
but-
he can learn a lot from there. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume that part of Evan's initiation, if you will, is to go around to each of the
Yeah.
committees that we have.
Yep.
But even the employee association agreement, I would assume would be very beneficial.
Personnel regs.
The regs.
Mm-hmm.
Are the personnel regs online?
I don't
think
know.
so.
I don't think so.
And the association agreement and the personnel regs are not.
He may have requested those, well,
Yeah.
during the interview. Sometimes that's a common request by the
Okay.
finalists, don't know. He was talking to Travis and Greg today about the results of the budget meeting last night, so maybe he made
Yeah.
some similar requests.
Yeah, that's the other thing, I'll send him probably just a PowerPoint, Lauren, that you just gave us. Again, we don't want to overwhelm him with like huge massive data,
Yeah.
but something that kind of summarizes stuff would be good, so.
I think you should send him a link to Heart and Soul.
Okay. Any other thoughts?
That's a good start.
That's a pretty good start. That's a lot of
Yeah.
stuff.
Keep him busy.
But he's very interested, he's very anxious, and he's got some downtime between now and the time he comes, so, he's anxious to learn. I think it's, again, he can go and look for this stuff, but it's valuable to him coming from us saying, here's what we think is valuable for you, that tells him something.
And it could save him a few hours of searching around.
Yes.
So he
Mhm.
can spend a few hours of time reading.
Okay, well, I'll work with Pat and Patty and staff to put this together, and if anyone thinks of anything else, let us know in the meantime. Okay. Good. So, well, we're,
Public Works report.
the Public Works report.
Is that somewhere separate, or is that, I don't remember where that got posted.
I'm sorry, I thought you said it was on
agreement.
the agenda, the Public Works Agreement.
Well, the Public Works,
The report that
the
you-
report of the committee,
committee
the
did.
review committee.
To send to Evan, you're saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think the plan that we kind of talked about is when he got here, Max and I would try to go with him and do one-on-one meetings with all of the village and town staff. I mean, not staff, but department heads, in their own environment, so that he gets to connect a name with the place. Okay? Okay, good, thank you. So we're on to trustee comments and concerns and manager's report.
The manager's report, well, you got the meeting schedule. And our next one is a joint meeting with the selectmen for February 13th. And then the next most important one, of course, is 27th, which is adopt the warning for the annual meeting. There's a joint meeting on the 24th with the selectmen as well at the Essex High School cafeteria. And then regular meetings, and then April 4th, the village annual meeting, followed by more regular meetings.
Yeah.
So, it's a good snapshot. Channel 17 asked to interview me, so I said yes, and last Friday I was interviewed with Channel 17, right here in this room, about the wisdom of my choice of a career in public service.
Was it a good choice?
Turns out, yeah.
That's good to hear.
So I hope I didn't say anything galactically stupid, but I asked Lauren Glenn afterwards, and she said, no, it didn't sound bad from her standpoint, and since she was asking the questions,
So you both agreed that you did a good job?
that I wasn't stupid, yeah. No, I was just worried about what, you know.
Well, the beauty part, Pat, is even if you did, what are we gonna do? We can't fire you, you know? What are we gonna do?
Well, yeah, yes,
You know, you pretty much.
there is a safety net there, isn't it, with the tenure issue?
All right, I'm anxious to see it. I'm anxious to see it.
Good, tell me how I
I'm
did.
sure you did great.
I don't watch those things, so.
All right.
Are we gonna have a public hearing on it and just play it right on the TV here?
We could. I think next
You
annual
used to
meeting.
be so nice, I don't know what happened to you.
Maybe a town meeting, that'll be the, instead of our act, play the.
Hey, that's a great
The
idea.
big screen there.
That's a good idea. Well, let's see what it is, how it works first.
You're welcome, Pat.
You don't want to see any tomatoes being thrown at the screen.
Should have bought you more beers, I can see that now.
Yes, rats. Okay, so, great, and I just have a question, Elaine, at our next meeting with the select board, you and Lori had said we want to talk about, we wanted to have some discussion about the meeting on the 24th. We wanted to be selecting someone and facilitate. I wasn't quite clear what we're going to do at the pre-meeting for the meeting.
Well, we wanted to set the agenda and what it was we were gonna talk about, and,
Okay.
and we do need to choose a facilitator, which,
And,
we're gonna need to act on that.
okay, well, I thought we said, I think as I recall, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we said Greg Duggan was going to look into a couple of different people and he was going to see if, check their availability.
Okay.
That's, do you remember him saying that?
I vaguely remember him
If he did,
saying
let's
that.
pretend that he did and then we'll save it.
And if we can agree to that at the next joint meeting, then get Greg started on it,
Okay.
that would be good, because
Okay.
the time is approaching.
Yeah, we do, George, in your email that you had sent around trying to summarize that discussion that we had, it does say that Greg will compile a list of possible facilitators, and that at a preceding
Awesome.
joint
Right.
meeting, we would make a decision.
Right, okay, good,
And I know he's working on that this week,
okay,
as a matter of fact.
okay. All right, good. That's all I had. Anything else from trustees? Any other questions, comments? Everyone good?
No?
Okay, so we're on to the reading file. And I this is fine, I guess I'm aware of this, some wireless device going up here on a pole on Main, it's already an existing utility pole. I was a little concerned when I first saw it, I thought they're gonna be putting a new pole up. But I'm not really clear what they're doing here. Is it a wireless, what is it, a cell phone?
Yeah, I read it to be that it's a cell phone tower that's gonna extend about another 4 feet above the existing tower that's there, existing utility pole,
Okay.
which the numerous front porch forum articles and requests saying about how terrible the cell phone reception is in that area, I'm sure will be a great improvement. I hope
Okay.
it'll be a great improvement to that area.
Okay. Too bad we can't take more credit for it.
No one needs to know. It's not pretty wild.
We heard you and we're putting our own cell phone tower.
We went to Radio Shack and got a
Yeah, we
booster.
should put an Essex Junction sticker on the side of it. Okay, good. And I think that was it for that. All right, so we're zipping right through all this. And so we are now on to the consent agenda.
I'll move it for the consent agenda.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
So,
I'll move we adjourn.
all right.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
Good job.
Wow.
So we didn't have to go to the Public Service Board and get a certificate of public good for that. That's what I was gonna say, but I wanted to hold out.